Hi friends, it's Terry Gaines. In this video, I'm going to share a fun way to package up your Halloween candy. It is super simple to make. I'm going to get all the pieces prepared before I do the assembly. And if you would like to follow along and create this project, feel free to pause the video at any time. What you need to do is pick the color cardstock that you would like. I'm going to be using Gorgeous Grape. And the cardstock that I have here is 11 by 8.5. For one holder, you need 11 by 3 inches, and it's scored several locations. I'm going to actually cut mine at 6 inches and score 2 at the same time before I cut it to be the 3 inches. So I'm going to cut this at the 6 inch using the trimmer here. And so I'm going to cut that. You do want to save this and use that for embellishing your cards. Now the scoring for this, there are several score lines. The very first score line is at 1 1/4. So what I'm going to do is put this at 1 1/4, and then I'm going to score that. Then I'm going to move it to 2 inches. So we want to score this at 2 inches. Then it is at 3 3/4. So I'm moving it to 3 3/4. I'm going to move it now to 4 1/2. Then I'm going to move it to 7 3/4. And then at 8 1/2. A lot of times I put the scoring dimensions right here on this piece of cardstock, and I did not do that this time. But if you found me via YouTube, in the comment section is a direct link to my blog post where you can download a PDF that has all the details on creating it, along with all the scores lines I just shared with you. So I'm going to just leave this sitting right here, and we're going to follow this diagram first. Well, at first I need to cut it to 3 inches. So now I'm going to put this at 3 inches. I rotated it. I'm going to cut this at 3 inches. And now I've got the scoring done for 2 at the same time. So that's a time saver for you. The Label Me Lovely punch is the one I'm going to use. And I'm bringing this in per this diagram. It's coming in right by that 1 1/2 inch and 2 inch score line, 1 1/4 and the 2 inch score line. So bring it all the way down so it rests into the punch, and then you center it, which is the cardstock is about the same width as the punch. This is in Stampin' Up's current annual catalog. If you don't have this, but if you do have a retired everyday label punch, that will also work. So do the same thing and you can punch that opening. So now that I have this part done, I'm going to do the rest of the prep work, and we're done with the cutter. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And we are temporarily done with that, so I'm going to move that. What I want to show you is how I decorated the image. So this is the materials for the holder. It's just one piece of cardstock. Now the rest is the closure and the decorating. I'm going to use the Scary Cute stamp set, which is in Stampin' Up's July through December mini catalog. And I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape ink pad. And I'm going to use the those images I have. Now for your decorative cardstock, it is 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. Or you could use designer series paper if you didn't want to stamp your images. I'm going to stamp mine. I don't do a lot of stamping on my video, so I'm going to give you some tips on tips that I'd like to share for stamping. Stampin' Up's ink pads are a foam type ink pad, so don't push down hard because you're going to get ink into the crevice. What you want to do is just tap it on. You want ink just on the surface. So I have this cute little Halloween image, and I'm going to stamp it right in the middle of this. Now this is a bold design, so I was checking the back to make sure I had complete coverage on the image. Also, I want to hold down some good pressure, even pressure, and give it time to absorb into the cardstock. You want to be sure, especially with the bold image, that you give the ink just some time to absorb into the ink pad. You don't want to push so hard that if you had ink in some space that you didn't want the ink to be on your stamp, you don't want it transferred to your cardstock. So I'm going to stamp this. I might have just moved this. I might have a blurred image. Let's see. I do. I knew I put it down, then I moved it, but I'm going to keep going on. A nice way to, what you can do is camouflage that, and what I am going to do anyway is sponge the edges, I can just kind of go really inward and camouflage that. I always tell people you don't make mistakes. You might add a little bit of character to your project, but you can sometimes camouflage it. I just have an old sponge here section. I'm going to put my ink pad on this side. I'm going to dab it into my ink pad and then just go on the edge. This is where I'm going to just bring it in. My videos are unedited. I choosing not to start over to restamp this because this happens to all of us. As I mentioned, I placed it down and picked it up. So I'm just going to keep, and we'll just pretend that that's not there. And maybe if I don't point it out, people won't notice it too much. But so now what I want to do before I close the ink pad is take the sentiment. I'm taking a scrap piece of cardstock here, and I've already used it once. I'm going to just tap, 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 want my ink just on the surface, and then put pressure, but not, I'm putting good even pressure down to allow the ink to absorb in. Now, I didn't worry about getting this lined up straight. What I love to do is stamp on my scrap paper and then bring a punch in. I'm going to use the double oval punch, which is in Stampin' Up's annual catalog. Then come in here, and then I can line it up and get it all squared up for punching it even here. So I like to do it in that fashion, then I don't have to worry about stamping straight. Now I cut off this extra piece from that 11 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. I'm going to punch this scalped oval from that section. So we have, this is for the scrap cardstock for the punched image for the closure. We've done the designer series paper or the decorated cardstock. We still need a white or vanilla, and we're doing white. I add vanilla in case that's the color scheme that you're using for your project. We need another piece that's 2 3/4 by 2 1/4, same size as that, and that's for the inside. I did pre-stamp this. There is a to from in this cute stamp set, and this other image right here, so I stamped that for the inside part. So we have all the pieces that we need, so I'm going to start the assembly. So first, what I'm going to do for assembly, you need adhesive and dimensionals and a bone folder. Now the adhesive I'm using is the Stampin' Seal Plus. It's stronger than the Stampin' Seal. You can use, I believe, any of your favorite adhesives or tear and tape for the any of your favorite adhesives will work. There's one section maybe you could use tear and tape, but I don't think you really need to. So now what I'm going to do is first assemble this, so we've got that prepared. And let's work on the assembly. I think I'm going to just move that out of the way. So now what we want to do is take this piece, and per the instructions that you can download, it tells you that this first score line is going to be a valley. A valley fold is folded this direction. And then it says the rest of these are going to be mountain folds. So when we look at this, the top of this, the cutout is on our left. So valley, mountain, mountain on all the rest of these score lines. I'm going to suggest that you bring your bone folder in and just make a nice crisp fold on all of those score lines. So we're just going to do that. So they're all mountain folds, except for this first one is a valley fold. And if we bring the instructions back in, you're going to see that there's adhesive right here, and I have noted that it's on the other side. So we're going to flip this over and put our adhesive right along this strip. And then per the instructions, it tells you that you're going to fold that in and line this edge up to that 7 3/4 inch score line. And that creates the holder. Now the rest is the decorating. We've got this part done already, so this is going to be the front. I'm making this super simple, especially if you have lots to be handing out or giving out, whether to your neighborhood kids or co-workers or family members, friends and family members. So I've got that on here. This is for the inside. And I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on this. This is for the inside, looking at about an 1/8 inch equal spacing on all sides of that. And this is for the closure. So we have this, when you close this, it's squared up like a box. That's how you want to hold this as you place this on. So the way you want to do this is you have to use dimensionals for this, or some foam tape. So we're going to put I'm going to put 2 dimensionals close by, like here. And now what I'm going to do is take your pick tool, I'll take the backings off. Now this is going to go down here and attach here. That just allowed us to have a little closure for this packet. A tip is, don't make this, if you have a different punch, don't make it so high that you can't get this flap out from underneath it. So just a tip on that. And there we have a cute little holder. There's all kinds of candy that is going to fit well in here. Your Reese's peanut butter cups are going to work out well. Your M&Ms are going to work out well. There's enough spacing here. There's also these cute little M&M characters. You could even close it up like that and put it in here so you can see them peeking, and all this candy fits in there, and then you can close it up. Also, there's trail mix that you can, small packages of trail mix will work out well here. For these, I would suggest you fold down that flap on the bottom, and then you just need to work this a little bit to get it in, and then you can fold that down. And how appropriate, it's monster trail mix, perfect for Halloween, and then you can fit that in there. The Ghirardelli chocolates would also work. You got a lot more space in here on the height for a couple Ghirardelli chocolates, but do know they will not fall out. They will not come out when it is closed up. So I made some of the other images that were in that stamp set. We have some other images and some other cute sayings that are in that same stamp set. Now this is a great idea for Thanksgiving treats. So here I use some designer series paper. This is the Rustic Harvest. This was black and white, and I just sponged in some of the different colors. Or you can make Christmas ones. So this is our designer series paper and the little cute Scotty dog punch. So I hope you found this to be a fun project you might like to create. I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the red box under the video, then select the red bell to be notified when I upload new videos. If you are in need of any Stampin' Up! Materials or supplies, I would love you to reach out to me, or connect to my online store, and please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks for stopping by. Take care and happy creating.